Hey Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown. I'm Andy here with Matt, Jonathan, and Scott. If you're enjoying this show, please share us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find all of our social media links in the episode's description. You can also watch us on YouTube and see Scott, who has joined the non-bearded family. So today, before we get all the way into who we're going to talk about, Alec Burleson, Scott, I just need to go right in on, you have a story for us of what happened. Scott, do share.
Yeah, so we are recording at 8:22 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. And as of this point, I've already lived like 4 lives, and none of them have been up to what I had for my expectations. So I am a morning person. I typically wake up around 3 to 4 in the morning, get my day started.
That's not a morning person. That's like a vampire. Okay, let's just get that straight.
Yeah, morning's like 5 a.m., bros.
Okay, well, I created this life for myself out of necessity. I need to work out in the mornings, otherwise I don't get it done. I have 2 kids, crazy sleep schedules. You never know what you're going to get. I figure that the time between 3 and 7 a.m. is where I have a consistent window. So that's where everything gets started, for the better or for the worse. And today it's been pretty much for the worse. So first off, I broke my razor about three months ago, and it was coming into Christmas time, and my wife's like, hey, you want a new razor, right? Hint, hint, I'm going to get you one for Christmas. Don't buy one. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that means I'm committed to this 3 month of trying to figure out how to trim my facial hair, which was minimal still at the time, for the next 3 months. Comes Christmas, she gets me a new razor that today I decided I'm going to learn how to use this.
I see where this is going.
It's one of those all-in-ones, 8 attachments, and my cousin does my hair. I don't know what hair it's like the numbers and stuff mean. So I, did the little spinny thing, put it on top, and then as soon as I did I'm like, oh no. So I take a look in the mirror, and I tried to start on the side so that I could always adjust, but man, it went straight all the way down to the end, right to the skin. So then it was at that point that I had to decide, am I going goatee? Am I going mustache? And kind of being a high school teacher, one of the worst things you could possibly do is throw a new haircut into the mix, especially one that is completely opposite of what you normally do. So I just, I went full bore. I've said, we're going to figure out how to do this. Well, then I get to the other side of my face, and then I feel the razor click into the mode that I wanted it to, which would have been the trim. So next time, in about 3 months' time, we'll get back to that. So that's part of where that was. That was about 5 or 6 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, let's work out this aggression for this for this facial hair. So then I'm like, let's go to Planet Fitness. So shout out Planet Fitness. Love what you do. Phenomenal. Roll in there about 5:30. They open at 7 a.m. on the weekends. Crazy. So 7 a.m. on the weekends, I think, is just too late for anything to open. Like, I get it. People use it to sleep in and everything. But like their whole thing is, accessible, all that stuff. Well, I want to be accessible at 5 a.m. because I'm in this workout plan.
Angry leg day. You want to do some angry leg presses.
I'm in this workout plan where today was a run, and it's negative 30 outside. So I'm not trying to run outside, and I don't have a treadmill here. So I was going to put that aggression into a phenomenal morning run at Planet Fitness.
So did you go like rob a Hardee's or something?
So then day continues.
Okay.
I continue on to the local grocery store, which is connected pretty closely to the Planet Fitness. No robbery. I'm like,
Okay,
hey,
just kidding.
I am recording at 8 a.m. on a Saturday where my wife and kids are home. I need to support them and make some breakfast. So I want to be a good, breakfast.
It's all out of stock.
No, not quite. Pancakes with, chocolate chips and everything. So I go there, want to do a quick run. Well, they don't have any baskets, and I need to have a big cart. Like, who in the grocery store, if any grocery store does not allow a basket or like a hand cart of some sort, like I'm just picking up pancake mix and chocolate chips. Like, that's all I need. I don't need to put this whole thing through. Then I also have these Oberweis milk containers that need to be recycled or refunded or whatever.
Dang.
Well, their customer service doesn't open till 8 a.m. on the weekend. So I'm an hour and a half early for that. Now I'm also lugging these Oberweis bottles around. And then, again, I just have the pancake mix and the chocolate chips, and I just want to run right through the self-checkout. Self-checkout doesn't open till 8 a.m. either, so they only have one cash register with one person working, and of course, when that's the only thing open, there's 4 people in that line, and my superpower is the one of I'm always in the line where somebody needs help. And
That's a great one. That's
so
one of the best. Yeah.
here we are. There's my little 3 minute. I'm here.
Wow.
I'm shaved. I got a little bit of a workout in. I'm still raging aggression. It's
Wow.
negative 30 outside. I'm ready for Jupiter. I need to see pictures of guys stretching in shorts in the outfield. Let's get going to spring training.
Scott, what I'm hearing is this is all your wife's fault. That razor.
Takeaway. What a takeaway.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her to fast forward to about the 6-minute mark and just jump right into the conversation.
No.
Wow. That
Yeah.
sounds.
Good
you know,
morning,
it's only
everyone.
north from here for you, pal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's gonna get better.
True.
No,
You're really in good
wow.
shape now.
I will share the disappointment on like hotels do the same thing with breakfast and their where you go work out, the fitness room, and they do the same thing. And it's just like do people do this? Like I don't have to set an alarm anymore. My body just gets me up. I don't care if I stay up till 1 a.m. I'm up at 5 a.m. It doesn't matter. So I hate that about that. I would agree with you, Scott. I
Thank you.
agree with that aggression, and it needs to change.
Well,
Right.
and my daughter, this is the first time she's seen me without it, and she goes, "Your haircut's scary, Daddy."
Oh no!
And she's told me about 4 times, and I'm like, "Girl, I can't do anything about it at this point." Like, I'll go witness protection for a week and a half, and maybe I
Time
can get
heals all
welcome back
wounds.
in.
Yes, and facial hair.
I was trying to think of an interesting vibe check, and you guys can share whatever you want. Here's my vibe check before we get into setting up what exactly we're doing with this episode. The person we're speaking about today is Alec Burleson. And first of all, trivia question: does any of the three of you, know what his walkout song is? Anybody?
I do not. Sweet biscuits or something
Wrecking
like that.
Ball, Miley Cyrus.
No, it's "Party Like a Rock Star" by Shop Boys. Okay, and so that got me thinking about this. Is my vibe check is what I think I would rickroll everyone to my as in. I would like start a song and then it would go into the Rick Astley "Never Gonna Give You Up" is probably what I'd walk out to. Now, you don't have to fall in that vein. You can do your own vibe check. Scott was angry at the world this morning.
Andy's a troll.
I'm trolling. So Jonathan, what's your vibe check? Go ahead.
Okay, well, I am very abnormally going to take us to the Cardinals because I was thinking about this morning. It's cold outside. It freaking sucks. Everybody knows it, right? Scott, you said it. We're looking forward to Jupiter. But I've heard a bunch of, like, we got to trade Donnie, and there's, like, we're scared, right? Like, if it's not going to happen. And I'm just completely at peace with it. I don't care if we trade him or not at this point. If we don't, I trust Heim. He wants to get what he wants. It's not like Donnie
He wants
is going to
another
plug
right-handed
up.
pitcher. We need
Yes,
one
exactly
more.
right. From Boston,
Yeah.
preferably 17 to 18. No, it is what it is. If we don't trade him, I trust that Heim didn't get what he wanted, and I don't feel like Donnie is going to, like, plug up the infield to where Weatherholt can't play. This isn't like he can only play one position. I mean, Donnie might be starting in left field. You know what I'm saying? So that hit me this morning. I was like, you know what? I'm at peace with all of this. Whatever happens with Donnie, I'm cool with. I trust Heim. He hasn't given me a reason not to trust him, so I'm going to trust him.
Matt.
Okay, I'll just go let it snow. I think we're all, maybe with the exception of Scott, I don't know how far north this winter behemoth is going to just cast its snowfall, but I'm ready for it. Snow me in for a few days. That's completely and totally fine. We'll do some quote-unquote e-learning. We'll get it done. We won't make it up in May. It'll just make me think about spring training more. So I'm ready. I'm set. We're stocked up. Michelle did a grocery order. I'm all good. Let's get it done.
Yeah. So let's set up, after Matt is stocked up, let's stock up on who we're talking about. Let's go through Alec Burleson, who he is, what it means to this Cardinals team coming up. He did win his first award this past season with the Silver Slugger, and that is the end of the awards. No shots at that, but
Still pretty impressive.
Party Like a Rock Star. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see. Some people have him as the DH. Some people have him as the first baseman. Just as a reminder, Cardinals fans, if you have forgotten, there's no more Wilson Contreras at first base. He was traded. So I would submit that this makes Alec Burleson that's going to be our first baseman, is what I see. Any disagreement there? No one has him as anything else as that, right? Yeah. So his importance to this lineup, Heim and Ollie have both kind of spoken to the fact that he challenges them. Brant Brown also, like they're excited about his trajectory, and so just hop in here, gentlemen, with something that you guys see for this 2026 season that you guys are excited about with Alec Burleson. Something I've forgotten who this is to this franchise right now as we pivot and into a rebuild. Who is Alec Burleson to this rebuilding team?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said Willie's gone. He's got a chance to solidify himself here, right, as a first baseman. He's not going to be running around in the outfield like a chicken with his head cut off. He tried his darndest to do it, and he was really probably okay. I mean, don't look at his defensive WAR. It won't tell you that same story. But I'm excited to see him at first base and see if he can post an even higher WAR season in a position that I think he's more comfortable in.
Like, Matt, is this a core piece? Like, is this how important this player is to this team?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking when you were asking this question and Jonathan was responding is, to me, I don't know if he is a 7-8 year Cardinal for now. And I think he's just right on that cusp of he's the best we have, and I think he's an above-average Major League hitter. But what we need to know about him at 27 years old is he going to round into our next great Cardinals team? Jonathan has used that metric a lot in this winter on the podcast. Right now, I would say he's kind of borderline as far as that is concerned, but I think he has the capacity and the ability to establish himself in the middle of this order for a long time, and I do think that's an exciting prospect. And of all these quote-unquote, sorry to do this, runway guys, he's a little older, right? But I think he also has the capacity to grow into something that we really care about. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. I think he's right there on the edge, and we'll just see if he can grow or not.
So, Scott, last one before we set up what we're actually going to do in this episode is transplant Alec Burleson to another team, right? And maybe a better team. Because to us, for our team, well, I mean, we're not going to be great, right? Let's just be real. Everyone's going to have to see eye to eye with that fact. He is going to be, what would you say, our third hitter, maybe our fourth hitter, probably our third hitter, right, in the lineup. Where does he actually sit if he's sitting on a postseason caliber playoff team, as in they're a division champ? Where does this person, who is our third hitter, as in one of our best hitters, where does he sit in a lineup in your mind on someone who's on like the Phillies or the Dodgers or someone out in the AL?
I think he could be one of those sleeper pieces that like people forget about when they think about a championship team, and then they look back and they're like, wait a second. Burleson had 25 homers, 95, 100 RBIs, and hit 270, but we only hear about the Bryce Harpers, or we only heard about, the big-name superstar guys. I think on a competitive team, Alec Burleson is going to be that guy that fans of that team will look back and be like, oh, man, I remember prime Burly.
So like a 6-hitter, is that where he is in a lineup, like in a really competitive 5-hitter maybe?
I'd say 5, depending on how the other team sets up their lineup with their 3-4 power slots. I think Burleson has we'll get into the statistics and stuff in a little bit, but I think he has the offensive potential to be protection, but also somebody that pitchers can kind of work around as well.
Yeah.
What about like Alan Craig at the peak of the Cardinals'
I love
powers?
me some Alan Craig.
Yeah, something like that, like not the keystone main piece, but a very important, good hitter.
Does that mean he's going to hit over 400 with runners in scoring position that one? That was
Guaranteed.
Unbelievable.
And destroy his foot in Boston, yeah.
One of my authentic jerseys is an Alan Craig jersey, so I just want to, along with a Stephen Piscotty, but let's keep moving.
Well, I just, Scott, go ahead and throw up the board. Don't throw up. I know you had a bad morning, so don't actually throw up. What we're going to do in this episode is there are 15 metrics. The other three boys are going to take one round at a time, and they're going to draft certain things off Baseball Savant's metrics that track things across. And what I've told them and just to help with the casual listeners, Baseball Savant metrics are very acronym heavy because it's kind of cumbersome sometimes to continue saying the same thing over and over. So what I've asked them to do is for the first couple of times that they reference whatever metric that they select, they're going to say what that means and maybe get a frame of reference of what specifically they're talking about, just so everyone can be on the same page, and then they might be able to slip into some acronyms. So they're going to choose between 13 batting metrics, 1 fielding, and 1 base running, and the purpose of this exercise is to, again, kind of what Matt was saying is, okay, he is kind of pivotal, he's important to this at this moment in time. But for the future, does he exist on that next great Cardinals team? And some of these metrics can give a telling signal to fans and people who track things like this of whether there are players going to be that. So it's a 3-person draft. We spun before the episode started. It's going to start off with Matt, then go to Jonathan, and then Scott is just on the L streak. He lost again for the draws. So he's going to continue his lose streak. But maybe he'll win in the draft. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a pity selection.
He'll probably just start drafting stats from other players and just
Maybe
continue
Jordan
the bad run.
Walker's. No.
Yeah, he's gonna start talking about Aaron Judge. Be like, no, it was Burleson.
So anything else that I'm forgetting about this draft board I need to set up for the listeners so they understand kind of what's going for? Anyone want to hop in?
I'm going to throw up the board here in a second, but while I'm doing that, you at home get the opportunity to pull it up and pull up your own draft board, and I'm going to set it up with a little bit of a look at how the team views Burleson this year. This is a conversation that we had at winter warm-up with Burleson. There's a little bit of a setup with the conversation of what are you going to do if Brendan Donovan is traded. Looking at it, Burleson is probably the most experienced Cardinal with 1,400 plate appearances, right behind Donovan as the most experienced. So he's kind of the most solidified person who's going to for sure be here next year. So this is a question asking how does he view himself as a leader. So get your stuff open at home so that we can take a look and see what Burleson has for us from the leadership point of view.
Look more, try to lead more with your voice. I know you want to lead with your flow, interest, and example, but you try to be more of that leader.
Yeah, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to. I think I was talking about this earlier today, but it's going to take not just the Donnies and me and people. It's going to take everybody kind of stepping up, and because there's going to be a lot of guys coming up in minor leagues that are going to sort of games, and they're going to have to be. I don't want to say show the ropes, but they're going to have to kind of it's a lot when you get called up to the position. Right? So there's a lot that comes with it, and so I think it's going to be a cool team effort of everybody pulling in the same direction. And so, but for me, yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. I kind of want to be that guy that people go to. And obviously, I'm still learning. I'm still, trying to make adjustments in this league. So, any of my experience that I can give to these guys and kind of show them the way, or make their adjustment a little bit easier and seamless. That's what I want to do. So yeah, it's weird you call me the old guy. But yeah, I think that's something to take away. So it's super excited to have that role.
Okay, so there's a look at what Burly is going to view himself as kind of outside of the stat sheet this year.
And that rings true. I mean, right? He's going to have to do those things, pulling in the same direction. I like that.
You guys couldn't see him in the video, but he was wearing a camo hat backwards with a brown jacket. If he laid in the grass, no one would see him. I just want to throw that out there.
I think that's what he was doing in the outfield the last couple of years. Okay, so I'm up first?
Yeah, so it looks like Scott's getting it situated.
Dang, Matt
here.
gets his pick of the litter. I don't know if he likes it or not.
I don't know. I'm of two minds about this, but as I cast my eye over the Alec Burleson StatCast page, I think if I've got the first pick, I just feel like I have to take his best skill, and I think that this is the single one trait that makes Burleson a big league player. And whether or not he's going to kind of turn the corner from above average to, like potentially sort of all-star, that remains to be seen. But the fact that he's up in St. Louis and should be up in St. Louis and will play and will be productive and will hit for this team, I think rests first on his what StatCast calls his squared up percentage. He is in the 94th percentile.
So it's just like hockey. He squares up. He drops the gloves. And
well, in a manner of speaking, I think he squares up with the baseball and he usually comes out on top. So he's got elite bat-to-ball contact skills, which I think we'll see as this draft plays out. But what I was heartened by is when he makes contact, it's usually pretty good, high-quality contact. And so he is well, we'll see again how this draft plays out. He probably needs to be more selective with the pitches he's swinging at. But the guy can put the bat on the ball and make good contact. And I just think that is his preeminent skill. So I'm taking that first off the board.
That's a good one. Can someone real quick explain to me and the listeners, I'll be that voice for them, what the difference is between squaring up the ball and barreling the ball? Because that's also a metric of barrel percentage. Anyone hop in there?
What's funny, Andy, is I asked Google the same dang question whenever I was looking at this. So square up is optimal exit velocity in launch angle. Okay. Barrel percentage is a higher exit velocity. That's what matters. It goes by a higher exit velocity is what I was reading. That it's 98 miles per hour or more, which registers as a, quote, hard hit. That's what that means. So barrel is more of a home run. You have a perfect blend of launch angle and high exit velocity. Square up rate is launch angle and exit velocity, but apparently it's a lower version of exit velocity. That could also just be totally incorrect because do we believe everything from Google? I don't know. But it's very similar, but it also deviates slightly from the exit velocity, and that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. All right. So, Jonathan, after you thank you for that, what would you like to select off of the board now that squared up is out of the running?
Okay. I'm going to go with what I think. I'm glad, Matt, you said this because this was my number 2. Just want to put that out there. I had something higher than this, and that is his expected weighted on base percentage. Okay. And I think that this is the single best snapshot into his offensive value because it blends his quality of contact and his plate discipline. We talk about how Burly can swing and hit at literally everything. He's got elite bat-to-ball skills. But not only just with Burleson, but with any hitter I would ever look at, are they getting on base? He is in the 77th percentile in this metric, which is really good. So no matter what Burleson is, if he's slow, if he's not getting, he's not walking, he's still getting on base. That's what I care about. So what they do on Baseball Savant is they kind of zeroize things and make it the expected, right? So his actual on base was a little bit different than this percentage, but they try to erase all of the erroneous things that happens in baseball and look at if everything was perfect, this is where he would be. So he's on the top half of the league in getting on base, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott, round us out of this. What do you see?
Well, I think I'm going to take my first win of the weekend, besides having the cold day yesterday and not having to go to school, meaning completely canceled, no e-learning, so I was completely off. I am going to take what I think as a hitter is going to be the one that takes the longest to establish at the major league level, and that's where I'm going to put into that whiff percentage is where I'm going to take Burleson, because a whiff percentage, when you whiff, that means you swing and miss. And right now he is in the 85th percentile of the league, meaning top 15% of the league, in the ability to put the bat on the ball. So he is, when he decides to swing, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit, he's not swinging and missing. So whether that's 0-0, 0-2, full count, whatever, he's putting the bat on the ball. And I think that is going to be something that once the hitter has that established, you can adjust the other parts of his game. So that's where I'm going to go to that whiff percentage as my first round win.
I think all of those first rounds talks to the same point. There were several times in the season last year that I was unable to be watching something, and Matt and Jonathan were, and I would kind of follow the game through however I could, ESPN or mainly through their text of what was happening. And several times throughout the season, I think that the 3 metrics listed on the board there speak to the biggest strength of what he is. That multiple times there are texts like, how did he just hit that? Or something to that effect was said, as in something was it just goofy, and he still made contact with it. Every single one of those 3 metrics talks to the same point that you guys all just made, is that he makes contact. Matt went with square up, and that metric is shown up, and what Jonathan brought up was the expected on base percentage. So I really can't say. I think that the winner of the first round is that Alec Burleson is a phenomenal, has that good eye that all those hitters and parents say in Little League of good eye. He has one, and it's all 3 of those are speaking to that same thing. So I say that all of you hit the same thing that jumps out to me whenever I personally see that, and just reading it, and it passes the eye test of just he has a good set of eyes, and he knows how to make contact with garbage, with good pitches, with bad pitches. He's making contact with those. So I think good job. Alec Burleson wins the first round between the three of you. All right, so let's move on to the second round. Matt, what do you have after that?
Okay, well, Scott, Andy, you could not have segued any better because I'm just going to characterize Alec Burleson as a just wild man in the back 40 of the wilderness with a hacksaw, just hitting everything. And he dressed the part in his interview on Winter Warm-Up, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
right? So I'm going to take actually a weakness of his, not because I think he's a bad player, but because I think that stats like what I'm about to take will determine him as a hinge point for this franchise. Is he a dead core piece, or is he something that we need to rearrange our roster to make him a supplementary piece? And that's going to be his chase percentage. He is 44th percentile in the major leagues at chase percentage, meaning he's just a little bit worse than average in that he is swinging at stuff that are not strikes. But because he is a wild man with a hacksaw just hitting everything that he swings at, when he's swinging at these pitches, it doesn't look like Jordan Walker, who is trundling back to the bench. It looks like a squibber to second base or something like that is really, to me, he's hurting his damage potential for extra bases by his ability to hacksaw everything and its dog. And so the chase percentage at 44% needs to, if that were elevated, I think he would transform into a different hitter.
I think two things that I got from that is deadcore needs to be a genre of music.
Oh, definitely.
Or it also needs to be like an ab routine, just deadcore. And then the hacksawing, if anybody needs to work on grip strength, get you a splitting maul and go out there and hack at some wood. Because I'll tell you, gentlemen, that hurts. My hands still hurt preparing for this winter storm. And I actually train grip strength, and that hurts. So there you go. Those were my takeaways. So Alex out there just with the old grip strength out there.
Ripping it, baby.
Yeah, so I would agree, Matt, that if you look at his overall, the chase percentage is not Jordan Walker-esque of swinging out sliders out of the zone. But yeah, it's definitely a room for improvement, and have some plate discipline, and all of a sudden we have, who knows what we have. Jonathan, what are you taking?
Yeah, so I'm a little upset because that was the one I wanted to say in the second round. But Matt,
what that means is I'm beating him.
Yes, yeah. So I'm gonna try to be nice and not whatever that just was, that garbage.
Okay.
I'm gonna help amplify your point really quick. Burleson, his chase percent last year was 14%. He was swinging at everything. This is percentiles, right? Higher is better.
Mm-hmm.
In 25, he was at 44%. So Matt, to your point, he is learning. He is getting better with that. I mean, that's a 30% tick up in one season. And that's probably just from the guru's patience, right, as they go and there's mist around them and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that one. Okay, Andy, I'll get to mine here. I kind of wavered back and forth with two statistics. I'm going to go with K percent, selfishly. K percent. He is in the 86th percentile. This is strikeout percent. This is, again, it just solidifies everything we've talked about. The guy doesn't strike out and is one of those quintessential, like, hard outs, right? He's not going to go up there and concede anything. He's also not going to go up there and strike out looking. And that's so frustrating as a fan to watch someone not swing the lumber, right? So there's not many times Burleson's going to let someone beat him. And I don't know if that's always a good thing because he swings at garbage sometimes. But selfishly as a fan, I enjoy watching people swing the bat, and he is someone that's going to swing the freaking bat.
Yes, he is. All right, Scott, round us out.
All right, well, this is where I was hoping it was going to be a snake draft because I figured this would go next. So if this is falling to me again, everything's coming up Scott after this morning. So what I'm going to go with, that both of you have kind of already led up to, is that if he can continue to improve his chase percentage, even if his K percentage does drop a little bit, what we're going to hope that creates is more power. So I usually don't go towards expected stats. I like to read them and then compare and look at compare to my eye test and everything else that I'm seeing or reading. But I think if Burleson can figure out that chase percentage, which he has shown the ability to trend in the right direction, the power is going to come. And I think then that means his expected slugging, which, again, is his anticipated stats with all things going as they should. He was already in the upper 25% of the league. I think that, again, with the maturity at the plate of his discipline and his ability to maybe be more aggressive with power on those pitches he pulls, I'm hoping to see that power increase. So I'm going with that expected slug.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. That the only other person that I get to talk sports with in my life was like I said, hey, the episode coming up, we're going to talk about Alec Burleson. And he was like, yeah, man, that's crazy that like he didn't even hit 20 home runs. Like that was the statement made. And I was like, oh, no, surely he did. And then I pulled it up. I was like, no, he sure did not. So that is if we take a step back from this draft for just a second and think about that, is if he is the third hitter, I mean, maybe Yvonne hits more home runs, but like I think this emphasizes, and I like the fact that Scott brought this up, somebody has got to start like wagging the big bat up there and like scaring some pitchers away from. Otherwise, there's going to be nobody. We got nobody in the lineup other than Yvonne. So I like this. I think I will give Scott his first debut of this morning. I think the slugging percentage is something that we need to see in terms of future growth from him. I would like to see more out of that just because it's more dynamic of a fun experience at the ballpark. But the Cardinals desperately need this in their hitting lineup, don't they? I mean, they have he and Yvonne. So Matt, take us on to round 3. We're approaching halfway here.
Well, let me take you guys to the stat that I actually think defines his power potential here, Scott. And
Jeez.
I'm going to take everybody
Holy cow.
Well, you got to defend. I mean, Andy's just tossing out wins here. You got to defend your draft.
I
Come on.
guess.
I am going to take barrel percentage, and here's why. I think that expected slugging. I mean, honestly, I think it's a great stat. The barrel percentage is so interesting to me because he's able to hit everything. He does hit everything. And he's not swinging at, or at least making his at-bats end on the pitches where he could do the most damage. So he is right dead center in the league in terms of barrel percentage. And so when you're talking to me about a guy who hits everything he touches, but his barrel percentage is in the middle, he's obviously leaving a great deal on the table. If that barrel percentage were to come up, I think you see that slugging percentage rise. And really, Scott, these stats that we're talking about are in tandem here. Mm-hmm. But this is the key for Alec Burleson. Can he be selective enough to take what is, I mean, guys, it's like an elite 1% human talent that he has for hitting a baseball.
Yeah.
Can he really narrow that down and take the pitches where he can do the most damage or not?
Yeah, that's really well said. Jonathan, do you have anything going on with that?
No, I'm gonna keep that going. Do you know when you're playing Uno and you get like the draw 4, and then the next person slaps the draw 4 on, and then the next person
you play it like that?
Yeah, like an absolute madman.
Oh
of
my
course.
gosh, no, that's only
and then
for +2s.
the third person throws it down, and the fourth person just leaves. They walk out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add another draw 4 here because what you guys are talking about, slug, barrel percentage. This guy's average exit velocity, say that 3 times fast, okay, was in the 72nd percentile. So we're talking about he has maybe a half the time barrel percent, right? His slug definitely could be better with more home runs, although he had a good slugging percentage because of the extra base hits. The extra base hits came from exit velocity. He doesn't even get the full barrel on the ball and still hits it hard as you know what. He's hitting what they call frozen ropes out there, right? That's what he's doing. So I just am impressed personally when I was looking at this that his average exit velocity was so high, knowing his profile of kind of slapping the ball literally everywhere. So if he starts to tune in those previous 2 metrics, he already has the exit velo, and if you hit the ball hard, good things are likely going to happen.
That checks out. Scott.
All right. I'm just bringing this all, we're all kind of saying the same thing, but I'm bringing it into, again, one that I'm looking toward for the future, but also bringing on what we've talked about so far, and that is launch angle sweet spot. So I'm going to go from Google, the 8 to 32 degree launch angle range in baseball where hitters maximize solid contact and power, also associated with a physical spot on the bat for optimal hits. So basically, right now, he is right around the middle of the league in terms of that launch angle sweet spot, and he's been around there so far. But what we're talking about as he matures into the hitter, where he's gonna be able to choose the pitches he attacks more aggressively, which I think is going to automatically improve his barrel percentage, his average exit velocity. But I think the biggest thing that's going to tell us if he is really taking that next step is if that launch angle sweet spot percentage increases, which will then hopefully see us. He may never be that 30 home run guy, but that gap-to-gap power as well as that pull side power.
Yeah, I think that it's really important that we kind of compare this to someone who is a generational talent and what that looks like, what the percentage is like there. So if you visit Aaron Judge's Baseball Savant page, it is absolutely ridiculous. The man is a freak of nature when it comes to hitting the baseball. So his launch angle sweet spot percent was like the 92nd percentile in the league. So, and again, once again, Aaron Judge's Baseball Savant page is like you went to Phoenix, Arizona, and just sat on the sidewalk, and that's what you would look like, just completely red. It is something that's indicative of what the Cardinals need. Right, I think that you guys are hitting all of that. The Cardinals need this. It's what I talked about with, we don't even have 20 home runs out of him. That's what they need. And so let's hope, and I'm glad that you're looking at the future, guys, of like, how can this transformative approach happen? Because he does make contact with everything, and that's something that kind of resonates with a few of the guys in the Cardinals lineup. Mason Wynn was also a guy that we highlighted that hits everything. So hopefully we can a player can make that transition into a scary, oh gosh, we got to get around this guy, rather than, like Scott said, you're like, oh, I forgot. Oh yeah, Alec Burleson has some we need him to transform into the guy, a guy that's like, oh no, this is going to be a tough out. Just like people, I'm not saying we have to fear him like Aaron Judge is feared, but something to that effect. Why not? Why not Big Dumper 2.0, right? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at here. So, all right. So the win goes to Big Dumper. I just had to give him into the episode. All right, so round 4. Matt, take us.
Andy, do you still have Aaron Judge's page up?
I do.
Read his bat speed. Where's he at, percentile-wise?
His bat speed is in 97th percentile.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Alec Burleson's is not. It is in the 55th percentile. And, Andy, you're going to love this. If you throw in Big Dumper, I'm just going to do this for you. Jordan Walker's is right up there, which means when he makes contact, it's just complete scud missile, which is why we can't give up on him yet. There you go, Andy. Thanks a lot. I know I won't win this round now, so whatever. Burleson's is not. His is in the 55th percentile, which means according to normal humans, he swings the bat so hard it's crazy. But according to professional baseball players, he's right in the middle, meaning he can't drive the junk that he swings at too much. And this is the whole thing with Burleson. His batting average is awesome. He is leaving slug on the table because he is swinging it too much, and his bat speed cannot make up for making contact with pitches outside the zone. And so he's got to refine this more to take advantage of his elite back-to-ball skills. He does not have elite swing velocity, so he's really got to hone this in if he's going to turn the corner and become what we're hoping he can become.
Yeah, and just for the listener, the bat speed metric is measured in miles per hour, and so his is near average of 72 miles per hour. So he's taking a bat and swinging it 72 miles an hour, and Aaron Judge's is like 77 to 78 miles per hour. So just to give some context of specifically what we're talking about. So if you feel like that you have MLB power, just go out there and swing a bat and see how hard you can swing it, because I don't think it's going to be that hard. All right, so it's going to be a sobering experience, like whenever you go and throw stuff in the radar gun, and you're like giving all you got, and it's just like 71, and it's just like, yep, don't have it. So
and you feel your rotator cuff like detach.
Yeah.
When you do that, Andy, like it's like 68.
I'm willing to bet Scott's
like,
got more than 71.
Yeah,
in the
Scott,
tank,
I was just about to ask. Scott, what are you throwing at now? Because we know the three of us went to the Cardinals game, and we know, according to the center field radar gun, what we throw at.
Last year, while I was still playing competitive adult league, I was hitting upper 80s and touch 90 in a second. But I currently have a torn labrum rotator cuff and fraying in my elbow. So I think.
So right now is the time to take you to the ballpark.
Yeah, yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right, so are you one of the guys? It always takes me back when I hear bullpen sessions or guys playing make YouTube content, and the amount of noise that the pitchers are like. Are you a massive tennis style like grunter as you're like serving?
No, I like as little attention on me as possible in pretty much everything that I do, which is a terrible profession as a teacher when literally 30 eyes are on you. But I try to be as quiet and interrupt as few people as possible. I think that's my Midwest nice in me.
Okay. All right. So you're not like, whoa!
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, Jonathan,
I don't know,
after
but this
that-
is the breakout social clip of this episode, just so everybody knows.
All right, Jonathan.
Yes, I
Take us
am
from
going to
there.
go. So I'm looking at Aaron Judge's page on the side screen here, and it hurts my eyes because there's so much red, Andy, to your point.
Yep.
I tell you who wouldn't have an issue getting through his Baseball Savant page is Moses. Buddy, it's so red, he'd just be
The part in the Red
straight
Sea.
through it.
I see what you
baby.
did there.
I saw that and I just thought, boy, I tell you, Moses is the first thing that comes to my
What
head.
a stretch. Okay, keep going.
If you can bring Moses into anything, you ought to try. You know what I mean? Okay, all right, okay. I'm going to go with hard hit percentage. This is pretty self-explanatory. But if we're using Judge as like the god metric here, his is he hits the ball hard. He's in the 99th percentile. Okay. Over half the time, almost 60% of the time. And that's, again, registering a, quote, hard hit. That does have to do with exit velocity. And, again, if you're using Judge as a metric, this is just not fair. Burleson's is at 49%. That tells me that selectiveness is something he needs to be better at because you really can't hit the ball that hard when it's 2 feet out of the zone, right? You can't. So I think, Matt, you were talking about the last round about barrel percent. If you see this go up, this is where he maybe takes a tick up in the whole league, like another echelon up in this. I think this is also paired with that.
Yeah.
Hard hit rate is something I'm sure teams are really zeroed in on. This is, again, why Jordan Walker cannot be given up on because he just hits, like Matt said, those scud missiles off the wall. This would help Burleson's home run rate, right? I know we're talking about launch angle, but again, good things happen when you hit the ball hard. So this is one that I hope that he continues to progress on. Andy.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to Scott's whiff percentage back on, that's when we look at Aaron Judge's page, that's what I see is that Aaron Judge's whiff rate is literally in the 2nd percentile as in bad. And so, he is just swinging as hard as he possibly can and is missing some of the time. But that has its pros to doing that. So, go ahead, Scott. Lead us through to your pick.
So I think both of your guys' picks this round especially are going to improve just as his plate discipline improves. So the bat speed, I think, is lacking because he just tends to fight off those pitches or just tries to put the bat on the ball, so he slows his bat speed a little bit down. So as that selectiveness improves, his bat speed improves, hopefully improving his hard hit percentage. So what I'm going to kind of go with that is going to bring all of those together, which I wasn't really planning to get this one because I don't think it's part of his game. But I'm going to take his walk percentage, and it's poor right now, 35th percentile, but it is up. It's pretty much doubled his percentile from the year before. And I think, again, as he becomes that selective hitter, I don't want him to be the Juan Soto selectiveness where he's not being aggressive with anything, but if he could just bring that walk rate up another percent or two, I think we'll see pretty much the bat speed, hard hit, and the exit velocity increase because of that.
Yeah, well said. So this round's winner is going to be Aaron Judge. All right, so moving on to the 5th round and final round.
Can't believe it wasn't Moses.
I was close second.
All the stuff he had to do, my gosh.
Burning Bush was second. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. So let's see. Finish this out. Round us out.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go away from the plate, and there were 2 stats. There was his fielding stat and base running stat. I'm going to select his fielding run value, which is in the 12th percentile. Now, Jonathan said earlier in this episode that he was running around in the outfield like a chicken with his head cut off. I'm not sure that he had a head as far as what he was doing in the outfield. I just don't think he's built for that. He's not there. Has played some first base in college in the past. I expect this to come way up, which will, in turn, raise his WAR value for the team. And Ali has spoken about this. This is where they want him. Except here's the thing. First base, it would be incredibly helpful to a roster if you had a complete masher at first base. I would not yet call Burleson a masher, although I'm really heartened in this discussion that we had. I think the natural talent and ability is there to become that. It's more of a process thing for him rather than a natural gifting thing. And honestly, I think the natural gifting is harder to come by than the process. So if we refine that process and his defensive value comes up at first base, again, would be the rosy, optimistic picture. I think it could be an all-star in the all-star consideration at first base, which is an offensive-heavy category every single year. And so I think it's here, and I think this will improve, and this will be important for him as well.
All right, Jonathan, are you going to take the base running value, or are you going to go back?
I'm struggling because I'm deciding how I want to. Do I want to crush the rest of Scott's nice ascent here?
Yeah, right.
It's okay. I just got a text that my daughter's screaming that her ear hurts. So just go on top.
So it doesn't matter. Okay,
No.
got you. I'm actually going to try to challenge myself here and take base running value, and let me tell you why. Okay. So Josh Naylor, who got traded from the Diamondbacks to the Mariners and was pretty important in them making that ALCS run with Andy's favorite Big Dumper. I think they called him Little Dumper. I don't know. That doesn't feel right.
Medium.
Yeah, medium dumper. That's right. Okay, so he is like the slowest guy in the league, or one of them.
Yep.
And his base running value based on this was at 44, the 44th percentile, and Burleson's is the 40th percentile. Josh Naylor stole a lot of bases last year, and I'm not really sure how he was able to do it, other than intelligence, baseball IQ. Paul Goldschmidt, somebody we've seen for many years in baseball, like in St. Louis, had a really high steal percentage, right? He was a smart base runner from that perspective. So I think it would be interesting to see, because Burleson's not the fastest guy in the world, he's been blessed, I think people say on the broadcast, like the catcher speed, which is such an insult to catchers. It kind of cracks me up. But I want to see if he can get better in this. Can he stretch stuff into doubles because people don't expect him to be running? Can he catch pitchers or catchers sleeping, steal an extra base? I think 40% is already pretty good, but I mean, if he pushes that to 50%, I just think this is something interesting for him to work on and to try to be better at, because I think when you're not known for something, you can kind of sneak up and be pretty good at it.
So I want to point out, people hate on, so it's really difficult. It's something that I wish the Olympics did, is put a standard human being out there, just an average male or female, and put them up against these elite athletes, because yes, his value is very low. But he was rated at 25.5 feet per second is what his statistic was, the top speed he got this past season, which is equivalent to 17.38 miles per hour.
Wow.
That is quite quick still. I just want to point that out there, that these people are still very fast. If you think that you're faster than that, go to a treadmill, kick it up to 17 miles per hour, and see how long
After 7 a.m. on the weekends.
Yes.
And don't stretch. Don't stretch or prepare. Just 17.
Yeah. So I think that people need to be aware of that fact, that it is
That's a good
very
point.
quick.
That is really quick. So 40th percentile out of the entire league is really not that bad for somebody who you look at and you're like, he doesn't really look like he'd be fast.
So if you could continue that, so let's put that in context. The world-class athletes that run marathons, et cetera, the bar for the mile run is a 4-minute mile, right? So that is achieved if you run a mile at 15 miles per hour. So if his sprint speed was consistent to a mile, he would run a sub 4-minute mile. You go out there and run a mile and see how fast you can do it in. Bet you it's not anywhere close.
Fortunately, he only has to run 90 feet between the bases.
True. It's true. But it is pretty quick is what I'm getting at.
And 0 feet at first base on defense.
So, Scott,
well,
Matt,
Matt's last point, 0 feet running at first base, makes me feel like I take the round 5 win, because we're talking about that first base position, which, no, it is not easy, regardless of what people may say, that Moneyball famous scene, tell them how easy it is. It's extremely difficult. Since we are talking about a first baseman that is hopefully going to bring power to the lineup that the Cardinals are sorely missing, I'm going to take it with a win, as though while I do appreciate batting average, everybody loves to see a 270, 280. I do understand that it depends on the player profile that we have. Burleson last year expected batting average was 272, which was 85th percentile in the league. Again, I think if he can be around a 265 hitter with 20 homers, 30 doubles, I think we're looking at a very productive first baseman, at least for this year, that will continue to progress. So I'll take that expected batting average for my final pick.
Well, yeah. In the end, jokes aside, with the round 5 winning, in the end, professional athletes, it's really funny, and it's always been a funny thing to me, is to have people dissect them. And it's just like, I saw last night KD absolutely trash talking someone in the front rows courtside, like a 12-year-old Redditor behind a keyboard, and basically like someone was like jawing him. And Luka does this. Lots of athletes, I'm sure, do this, and it's a frustration that I understand. It's just like, you come out here with your fat explicative to come and show me what you can do out here, because you can't do what I'm doing. And so in the end, Matt, I think you said it earlier. Hitting a baseball is single-handedly the hardest thing to do in any major sport, and it is hats off to these guys who, if you think you could do this, get on a VR headset, go see Scott when he doesn't have a torn labrum and a competitive men's league, and go hit against some of these things that are moving like this, and so you can appreciate what they're having to do. That they're not robots. That they don't have. Some players don't have drums in the back of trash cans telling them what pitch is coming.
Man.
Shout out Hall of Famer Carlos Beltran.
Yes, that's what I was doing.
Go check it out, Redbird Rants.
So I think in the end, the winner are the athletes, right? That it is exceptional to watch human beings do something that is so ridiculous with such a small target to hit. So hats off to all the professional hitters. Hats off to Alex. To be able to do what he's doing. So in the end, obviously, I think that he's got to win the draft overall. I think, and I'll give Scott, I agree, the batting average is something that I particularly like to look at. So I hate seeing like people like, oh, he's a good hitter and he's batting like 240, and it's just like, okay. But in the end, again, like I said, it's because it's so difficult to do what they do. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this is transformative. Hopefully he can make a step forward in his leadership ability. Hopefully he can take us to a spot that maybe he's not the capital G guy that Matt talked about last season and we talked about a little bit this year, but maybe he is an instrumental in giving some knowledge to the guy who is going to be that, right? Like he is able to share something that he's learned. And obviously he has that ability if the hitting coach is like, we challenge each other. So obviously something is there, something special about this guy. And so if it's not him that does it, maybe he is able to elevate another player to do that for the Cardinals team. So with that, I hope that maybe you got to look at the Baseball Savant page. Maybe you clicked over on Aaron Judge's Baseball Savant page and were blinded by the light. So if you would like to see more of this content, see stuff like this, more drafts like this, engage with us. We would love to hear what you thought about this episode, how you enjoyed looking at some of these metrics and what we expect from the future good baseball players on the next great Cardinals team. But with that said, thanks for tuning into the Redbird Rundown, your go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to subscribe and review the show. It honestly helps us grow. Follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, shout us out, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for the latest updates. Keep those rally caps on, and let's go Cards.
Mountain Man with hacksaw.
Meep.